price, but
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
if I do a quick, it'll be $15 to $20 depending. 20. Yeah, 20.
Snapbacks are 15. Skull caps are 12.
Like the snapbacks is, we had them for so long, they went down to 15.
Yeah.
15. But that has 20. It's easier to give a $20 bill than a 10 and a 5. Just saying.
Actually, where you been? Like, we do post this stuff. I promise you we do.
I
promise you we do.
We've been doing this for how long? Like past year. It's all on the page.
Go to the page and go to store or shop or whatever it is. Like, it's on there. You go to epiphanymedia.com, it's on there. I promise you.
Shirts.
Yeah, I promise you we ain't
Hey! Back up. Get over there.
Sorry. That's me, nigga. That's the dog.
Well, I didn't want her to, I didn't notice how she was going to react.
You know how I react.
But hey, you know what's crazy?
You know how I react.
You know what's crazy? She was
cool.
She finally got to meet you and she ain't do nothing.
No, hit her with that MC hammer.
She did come and sniff you. She did come and sniff you though. Hey, but if you would have been like, she would probably. If you put your hand out, she would probably.
Yeah. Don't grab me, nigga. Grab the door.
How am I supposed to get over you?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to watch.
I don't know.
We're gonna have to put that as on the blooper reel.
I don't know. Oh. I tell you this much. I got something for that dog. Nigga, all y'all gonna see is y'all gonna hear bang. It's gonna be blood on the camera. Y'all gonna be like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
All right, so.
You are about to experience the result of hard work and dedication from the City of Champions, Cleveland's own, 90th's finest. Self-made, hard-working entrepreneurs, unequivocally raw, no holds barred. This is Epiphany Media.
You tell them that's the greatest intro? Greatest intro of all time?
Man, like I don't understand. I think the reason why she didn't bite you was because I was with you. Other than that, she would probably bit you immediately. But you see, she ran up on you. I think she sniffed you or something. She sniffed you or something.
I don't know. You know what I grabbed? I don't know what she did. I say what I did.
Hey, but the look on your face was classic, though.
Yeah, I'm like, don't grab me. Like, don't prevent me from protecting myself.
It's like I forgot that you like 6'3", 300 something pounds. I'm trying to move you out the way. It's not happening.
I gotta tell you though, that intro is on point though.
Hey. That's funny, man. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Epiphany Media Podcast. I mean, that's the name that we're going with forever now. So, look, people already, Ebony J said she needed a new intro already. So we'll see what we can do. Regina, welcome. Thanks y'all for joining us again.
People on time today.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Hey, they need that information, man, and that knowledge. So as y'all see, we got a third today. Y'all been watching the promo all week, posting the videos from the old from the last show we did. We got Eric Tolbert in the building. I don't know what this. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't know. My intro is not great, but thanks for joining us again. As y'all see, his information is at the bottom of the screen. It'll be scrolling. Sometimes we'll post it stationary, so y'all can get all the information. But and you know what I didn't think about B is since we've been doing the visual, the camera version, we've never had a guest on more than once. So
true.
This is
I feel special.
Yeah, you made it.
The inaugural part 2. The inaugural part 2. You made it for your first part 2. We had so many more questions that we wanted to ask you, but we couldn't keep you forever last time.
Yeah, man.
Well, I ain't going nowhere anytime, and I like talking. I love running my mouth. So you guys, whatever you like to know, I'd be willing to try to help you out with.
Yeah, last show, you changed my life because I was trying to save too much. But then I just save a little bit and I spend the rest. Like I spend it all.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. So I did the same thing. I started looking at I started looking at. I went back and watched the show after the show. I'm like, all right, well, I could. All right, so he said about 15%. You know what I'm saying? He said like 20. If you can get to 20, that's cool. He said 15, somewhere between might be a little sweet spot for you. So that's what I try to pattern after. And savings is doing well. My long-term investment stock market ideas are not working as well right now. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get there. We'll
you got to give a little bit more time.
Yeah, we'll make our way. Long term is the key there. Man, I say when I look at that screen, I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now.
I pull everything out. I don't even mess with it right now. I'm taking a break.
Now when you buy, it's low.
Man, it seems like it's not even moving. I don't think it'll move until next year. So that's a long term investment.
So,
well, we got somebody here that would have knowledge of it. So that one we. You
want me to start there?
Yeah. So I got to just start with good idea, bad idea to pull everything.
Well, unless you are getting ready to retire tomorrow, or you're getting ready to die tomorrow, I would probably never tell you this good time to pull it out. But I will tell you this though, okay? And I know you guys probably don't follow the economics like I do, but I'm telling you, we are poised for the stock market to be on a huge run, and what stocks are going to be doing real well here. Now, granted, we had the two previous quarters were really horrible because of this pandemic, right? But the healing has started as far as like companies being able to clean up their financials and stuff. So things are poised real well to move good going forward. But it's like I told you guys before, what you really just need to make sure that you do is you get, the money that you need for your cash reserve built up first. And then you just sort of get in the, good stocks and just sort of, just ride it out over the course of the time, And as time goes on, as long as you can get to that point where, like I was telling you guys before, you can do the guilt-free spending.
Yeah.
Life will be good. Just be a little patient. It'll work out for you.
Yeah, I'm confident, man. But so like you said, the key is to get into some good companies and investment in places where, historically, you'll come out on top as long as you're in a good spot. But man,
and don't get me wrong, you'll never be 100% on it, right? But I always tell people to think of it like this. I know what like a French pane window is, where they got the little squares in it, right? And if you had a kid to turn around and hit a baseball in that window, right, you might lose one or two. So you replace that one and you move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like that over the course of time. You may lose one or two. Don't get dragged in your psyche thinking, all stocks are bad.
Hear that? Hear that?
See, okay, not all stocks are bad, but let me ask you this. What stocks are good? Technology, the automotive industry, like what should I invest in first if I was a newcomer?
So let me just say this. I think if you are a newcomer going into the market, you probably need to not try to, it's what we call doing a sector bet, getting into just technology, just the airlines, just pharmaceuticals, just the healthcare. That is really hard to do because all of them will ebb and flow, right? So you want to get a diversified portfolio in all the different sectors. Now, there's something that's kind of weird that's going on right now in the market. Let me tell you what I mean by that. You mentioned the technologies, right? The technology stocks. Mm-hmm. Those things, every one of them are blowing it through the roof right now. Anything that touches that, Amazon, Walmart, because they got a real big online presence too, Netflix, any of those companies like Microsoft, they just blowing it through the roof right now because of this pandemic. And then all the companies that I will call the old line companies, the hospitality industry, ain't a hotel making no money right now. they're that close to bankruptcy. All they're doing real bad. But I know this sounds very counterintuitive, though. But you remember how you make the money in the market? You buy low to sell high.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get into the things that are not doing well now for those that be the ones they appreciate, because they do all run in cycles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, so what I am trying to tell you again is you want to make sure that you get into like a diversified portfolio at first, okay? And either through mutual funds or those exchange traded funds, okay? And get you one that's, into all different industries. And so if again, a couple of them go bad, it won't hurt as much because the other stuff will take you back on up.
Now you got me looking at mine. I just want to see how diverse I am, because I remember that was a big sticking point of the last episode, and we was talking about real estate and stocks and bond, and just being diverse. So I just wanted to look, I'm pretty 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm in 6 different say categories. So I feel
as long as you got something in stocks, something in bonds, some real estate, and you want to get into a little bit more diversified. You get different categories of stocks from the large companies, the mid-size, and the small companies, and the same. And the one thing that I will tell you too that most people forget about, don't overlook buying stocks that are not headquartered here in the U.S. either. Get some international stocks too.
I got burned twice, man. Doing that, I haven't reached out twice. I got burned twice, and I haven't even looked at China or anywhere since.
No, I'm not saying. Well, okay, I'm not necessarily saying China, right? But what I'm saying is, though, you got to remember, all money is not made in the U.S.
Right, of course, right.
So there are companies that are domiciled outside of the U.S. that are doing real well. I mean, the one that comes to mind right now is Moderna, right? That's not a U.S. company. And they swimming in money right now because vaccine, right?
Vaccine, yeah.
And let's not forget. I always have to remind people, right? When you buy McDonald's, if you buy McDonald's stock, you think that's a good old American company. 80% of their profits come from outside the U.S.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. I did not know that. 80%?
Think about how big the world is. Like, America is this big, but think about how big the rest of the world is.
Probably the rest of the world is like, oh, McDonald's. Whereas here it's like, if I got a couple dollars in my pocket, that's what I want to get. But
that's what happened. That's what's happening with a larger middle classes growing around the world and stuff. So then they can afford Starbucks. They can afford McDonald's. I'll give you another example. One is Exxon. Most of that money is not made in the U.S.
Cool. I haven't even thought about.
Most of the oil they pulling out of the ground is not in the U.S.
Middle East.
Okay.
And they sell all around the world.
Exactly. That's the.
So even when you buying those companies, you get the taste international stuff. You just don't realize it then.
Right.
There are companies outside. You got to take that into consideration too.
Hey, let me ask you this though.
Sure.
So, recently the House had passed legislation on legalizing marijuana, right? So it's a lot of companies that are waiting for it to pass in the Senate. So, my attention came like, well, should I try to invest in some of these companies now on anticipation of it legalizing? Because once it legalizes, it's gonna be, it's gonna be all-out warfare on on free, money to get out here in all of these states. So,
bro, let me say this, okay? I understand the sentiment for that because that's actually, there's a lot of truth to that because it's, being passed in a lot of states, right? And right now, the federal government still has it as illegal.
Yeah.
So the real problem with it, though, is those companies, they can't even put that money in the bank.
Yeah, they can't.
They can't even put the money in the bank, right?
Yeah.
So, so it's just the true Wild West. Now, the only thing I will say to you is this. Will that come about? Probably. I don't know how long we're going to be waiting for that, though.
Sure.
Now, the only thing that gives me a little bit of reservation, when a country all of a sudden on a flip changed on the LGBT rights, right? And then made all that. We went from one extreme all the way to the other extreme during the Obama administration, right? And that was on a real fast turn, right? I don't believe that's going to be the same with drugs, though, or with marijuana. And let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you the main reason why. The dirty little secret is a lot of small municipalities feed everything that they do through drug confiscation and just fighting the drug war.
Even tickets.
You're not giving them that money quick.
Yeah.
They're going to fight that big time. So it will probably be a while before that, makes it through.
Well, I say this: as long as you waited for Google to buy Fitbit, you can wait for. you can hold out that long, man. You can hold out forever.
Yeah, that was forever, and it didn't pan out how I wanted to pan out.
Yeah, exactly.
You may be waiting on that one for a while.
So, man, the timing couldn't be better. As we talked about on the phone, it's tax season coming up. You got a second tax return coming up. That was just passed in the Senate this past week in the form of stimulus. Like a lot of people coming into a good amount of money. Soon, like a couple of lump sums. So where do the smart people, I guess? How do we take this? It ain't quite lottery money, even though that's what we talked about last time. But
scratch off ticket money,
lump sum of money, and
that's kind of like what it's like. You got a scratch off ticket. You got a little something thrown in your hands.
Couple bucks, man.
No, I'm just going to stick to the same thing I was saying before. In all sincerity, right? You got to make sure that you have that cash reserve for yourself first, because as sure as you live another 6 months, a year from now, something else gonna come about, and you're gonna end up being in trouble. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you need to save it all, but I am saying that you should probably save a big chunk of it, and then I don't know, go to Longhorn.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you this though. I saved like a big chunk during the pandemic, but then I forgot to pay my taxes.
Oh yeah.
So they sent me a letter, and they interest rate is by the day. So I had to, but luckily I had that cash reserve to pay it immediately. But yeah.
I know.
Like I forgot, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, normally.
And you do not want to be pen pals with the IRS.
No.
Oh no. Hey, every time I see a letter on like the informed delivery, every time I'm like, oh man, the IRS, and it could be something just like, hey, we see you change your address, but you don't know that. All you see is that stamp. You're like, what did I do? Who do I owe? How much? You start panicking, like, oh my God. Every time I see an IRS letter,
I know.
It ended, man.
But I will say this, though. There has been, because of this pandemic, there have been a number of different scams that's been going around, too.
Crazy.
For, where people primarily calling out and saying, that they can hurry up and get your stimulus money to you in a quicker manner, or the state of Ohio, it was some crazy number. I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was like $660 million that they was defrauded on in unemployment compensation. People who weren't here even in the U.S.
Oh yeah, I heard it. Yeah. Okay.
That's crazy.
In the U.S., right? When they went into the system and then filed fraudulent unemployment claims and stuff. So I would I just want to say to everybody, be very aware and very careful about people calling you, trying to give you an easy way to get your stimulus money quicker or anything like that. But as far as what to do with it, I always tell people, take a real assessment of whatever your financial goals are, and make sure you get that cash reserve built up for yourself. And then, sock that money away for something for yourself. And, again, reward yourself a little bit too, because nobody is going to work real hard every single day and not reward themselves immediately right now. But you ain't got to reward yourself with all of it though, because there will be a tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
See,
man.
with the first stimulus checks, I paid off everything. I'm debt free now. So with this one, I'm gonna enjoy it though. So like I gotta enjoy this one. But I wanted to ask you this. So they had the PPP loans. You can apply for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at information. I was talking to some like tax person, and they told me that depending on how much I get, they would charge a fee. Now, in that paperwork, it's saying that they can't charge you a fee. So are they right for charging a fee for that, or are they wrong?
So here's the thing, okay? The banks can charge a fee, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But those fees are supposed to be paid by the federal government. They're not supposed to charge the consumer or the business owner a fee for that loan.
Mm.
So, and then with the PPP loan, they are really designed to keep your employees employed. And if my memory serves me correctly, you can get up to like 2.5%. Oh no, 2.5 months. I'm sorry, not percent of whatever your payroll is. And if you use it just for payroll, and they have some other stipulations for certain other expenses too, but pretty much you should stick to the payroll because it's really designed to keep your employees working.
Right.
And those fees are supposed to be paid for through the Treasury. So I don't know who you're talking about is charging the fees, but I will look into that one.
I
Let's look into that one.
You want to put a company name out there, or I mean,
nah, I ain't gonna put them out there.
Man, so all right, man. So like we do, the conversations we had, and clearly, we're not in that same business, so we're not looking at the finances in. Even if we was in the same business, you got so much more experience if you look at trends and stuff in a different way. So like, how do we gain like I guess like a better understanding or like education? So even like younger, like just trying to like just be more educated in whether it is stocks or investments or just being better financially as a people, you know what I'm saying? Like, because us as a people, when it comes to investing and stuff, it's more like a you pray about it and you hope it all come through. So like, you got any like just ways to get educated or to educate our kids or just to be more mindful when it comes to finances and the whole nine.
So I'm gonna tell you this one little quick story. One of the things that has really annoyed me to no end, right, is now I'm older than you guys, right? But when I was in junior high and high school, they taught us, we had sessions on how to learn economics and to be specifically, I'm talking about basic stuff like how to run a budget. And that kind of stuff is not even taught anymore. Not at all.
Not even close. It can't be.
No. Mm-hmm. Now, and I know that now I'm pretty good at math, right? But I always thought to myself, right, you should probably skip algebra 2 and teach just basic budgeting to kids. Because at the end of the day, okay, let me tell you what you got to do to be a successful investor. You got to be able to keep a source of income coming in, spend less than you make, save the difference, and live, and let it compound over the course of time. If you get that down, that's the biggest, hardest part. And quite frankly, I mean, I think about it like this. Could I fix my car if I needed to? Yeah. Am I going to do it now? I'm investing in all the tools and stuff to be able to do it.
I was watching the last show. I was watching it back, and you talk about the dad was trying to teach like, Like, look, Dad, look, I'm gonna make so much money. I'm not doing this. Like, I'll just pay somebody to do it.
I did tell my dad that. But my point is, though, if you can just get good enough to be able to find someone that's trustworthy, and to your point, though, that's hard for us. And I'm gonna tell you why. There ain't that many African American financial advisors. There are there's a lot of insurance agents, but very few African Americans that are registered as stockbrokers. So.
I remember the very first time we ever spoke on the phone. We was talking, and you were telling. I can't remember what it's called now, but it was I think it was something that you had called it or something, some kind of certification or group or something, where like he was like when I first started, it was like, you know, one or two guys in there. Like now it's like one or two guys in there now or something. I can't remember what it was called, but I remember you telling me a story of just how it's just not.
It's true. It's true. I mean, to this day, we have to get something that they call continuous education credits to be able to maintain our license, right? And a lot of the law firms that do that for us, right? Because they want us as a referral source, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, before the pandemic and stuff, they do them at the hotels and stuff. They'd be like 300 advisors there. It's maybe me and two others. It was black in the whole room.
That's crazy.
Is this like region, like in the Cleveland area, or?
Yeah. I'll tell you a story. This is no joke. When I first started here at Ameriprise, and I started like in '96. Okay, I got the job, and then one of the managers came to me. Did I tell you this? One of the managers came to me. He asked me to help him recruit another African American, right?
Yeah, you didn't tell on the show, but you told me. Yeah.
Well, let me take this right quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. He come, and then he wanted me to talk to him. I said, fine. And then he told me, he brought me in the room. We got to talking, right? And he acted like he knew me. I didn't know who he was, right? But anyway, he was working at the Urban League. He was doing research for the Urban League because they was trying to, you know, do a lot of reaching out to African Americans and, you know, do the financial literacy thing. And their thought was to be able to find, you know, people that are registered as stockbrokers, a Series 7 license, to have them work with them to do this, right? And he told me, do you realize that in all of Collin County, there are 5 of you?
Now you know the exact number too.
When he told me this, and then he said, you know, the worst part is, he said, 4 of them are working in the trust departments of the banks. So unless you got $500,000, you ain't gonna never get to see him. He looked at me and said, do you realize you're the only one in the damn county that anybody's got a shot at talking to? And he said, he really just wanted to know how did I make it? And I just told him, I said, look, I went to Cleveland State, okay? And I was a finance major there, right? Every class I went to, I was the only black person there. And I'm right in downtown Cleveland.
Right.
Right down in Cleveland. I am the only black person in every one of the classes I had. So I just got accustomed to putting blinders on and not paying any attention to it and just moving forward.
That's crazy.
So that's why I tell you, it's not much better now. It's just not much better.
Oh man,
and I seen that someone there said that trustworthiness is real hard. It is hard.
Oh yeah,
it's incredibly hard.
Yeah.
But the only thing I will say to you is, you know, hopefully you can get, you know, a referral to someone. But it's just gonna be But in just getting into investments and stuff, I'm telling you, it's pretty complicated in a lot of different areas, right? Especially once you start building up some real wealth, right? Mm-hmm. And you probably should get a professional to help you with it.
Man, I feel this way about a lot of, and I, I don't know what the answer is. I feel this way about a lot of stuff. Like, you enjoyed my politics show a couple of times, and we done talked 1,000 times about like politicians in the Cleveland area or whatever, every area to have, saying like youth mentor programs or whatever. And Angel said the same thing. It sounded like a youth mentor program would be a great opportunity to teach some young kids. So I agree with that first off, and then I think that representation matters, like it is, and for all the kids that got to see Barack be the president or Kamala Harris be the vice president and stuff. Like it's good to see, and I think that'll even help with the trustworthiness if there was more people, saying, that look like us or whatever that was able to, like just to be available. Like you said, if you ain't got all that money, those other four guys, like you ain't gonna see them. You know what I'm saying? So just having, and I'm not saying like I'm putting the pressure on you to start a youth mentor thing. That's not what I'm saying. But just having the vision to be able to see like, oh, I'm good at math. I can do this. I can actually be a financial advisor. I can actually, start my own, whatever. Like just being able to see that is like visually that it's possible.
Yeah.
So I'll say, I don't want to interrupt you, but I'll say this though. There are a lot of African American kids that are really good at math.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that they could do this.
I got a cousin. My bad, B. I'm gonna let you go. I got a cousin that's he probably the best person I know personally, like with math and numbers. I mean, all of it. Percentage is not that difficult, but I was going like do whatever, what I'm saying, like just anything to do with math, and super good at it. And don't get me wrong, like he got a successful career working for the feds, but he don't do. I don't think what he does have anything to do or very minuscule to do with actual math and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Where he could have been XYZ, somewhere in maybe HR. I don't exactly know what he do, but he don't got a lot to do with math. But even still to this day, even though he haven't like took math math classes in a while, I'm guessing, but still to this day, he's like one of the best people I know personally at anything to do with numbers, like anything. So I agree. Like I don't know if like any love numbers and love math and stuff, but maybe I guess ultimately it could have been something he didn't want to do, but to have like that talent, what I'm saying, when you actually passionate about something like that, and but it's just you, what I'm saying, maybe he wasn't able to put the blinders on like you were to focus in and just do what you got to do and get it done,
Yeah. See, when I go back to me being in high school and taking math classes, like geometry, I love geometry, right? And I use geometry to this day. You got to cut some drywall or something like that. You know what I mean? But when it came, like you said, when it came to algebra 2, like I'm just dumbfounded. Like I haven't used any of that to this day. But then I took a accounting class, and you basically going through, what some of the things that you may do, and it was like, okay, I get this. This is addition, subtraction.
That's always.
You know what I mean? and people get paid $100,000 a year to work for companies that do this. You know what I mean? And I don't know, but it never occurred to me to be an accountant. But yeah, it's just crazy.
It's because you probably never knew one.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly
true. Yeah. I never knew one growing up, but I do know one now, and like it's to the point where he moved overseas just because he could. Just to be an accountant, and he's gonna come back eventually, but he just overseas working, doing numbers. The numbers don't change no matter where you go. So
nope. So now I'm not gonna. Now I'll admit to you, Ray, I'm a little strange when it comes to that, right? Because I remember when I was in high school and stuff coming through, right? The only thing my parents always told me to do, you gotta go get a job with the federal government or go out to the Ford to work. And again, as you probably picked up the relationship I had with my father, right? I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing that.
That's funny.
And he thought I was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say, right? I didn't get a lot of positive thoughts from that, right? But I just seriously did. I just put blinders on. I won't do this. I'm going down this.
Yeah, I'm not going to fix that car, man. I'm not fixing that car.
Right.
You can't make me, man.
You can't make me climb on no ladder and paint no house. I ain't doing that.
So somebody in the comments, they want you to brag a little bit and put your credentials out there again, man.
So let me tell you, as far as my credentials, right? One, every one of us got to have it's called a Series 7 license, okay? The Series 7 license is really, I'll never forget when I took that. It was like taking one big final exam of every finance course I had in my junior and senior year of college.
I made it.
It was like a 300 question test, right? Anyway, that's just the minimum to get in, right? Once you get that license, you can then turn around and be in the securities industry. Now, further from that, I have what's called a Chartered Financial Services. It's a degree through the American College, right? And then there's another one I have that's actually on insurance. It's called a Chartered Life Underwriter, right? And with both of those two courses, right, there's a series of like 12 different exams you got to take to be able to get those particular designations, right? And, not to try to brag or anything like that, but if you go on my website, there's a section on there that talks about that and explains all of that stuff for the credentials that I have, okay?
Yeah, man. Don't make them brag. Go to the website.
No, I say brag.
Yeah, I say brag too, but you know how it be. I say brag too, sure.
And more, and the thing that I always say too is, right, if you're in my business for a while, right, you've pretty much heard everything and figured it out over the course of that the longer that you're in, right? And look, it is a very, very tough business to get started, though, because you are trying to work with people to get them to invest money with you, and a lot of them don't look at you and they say, "Wait a minute, you don't look like me. I don't know if you would know anything about me." And I had a real tough time with that at first, but I made it through.
A lot of people think as blinders as like a negative thing, like you're ignoring. The technical part, but it ain't always a bad thing, man. Like if you were looking at other things, who knows where you would have ended up, or you wouldn't have made it as far, or
right.
Like anything's possible. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And to Ebony's question, no, I don't do the CPA thing.
Yeah, we don't do.
I'm not a specialist in taxes.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how people do tax attorneys and stuff like that. It's so many. It ain't just regular math. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start getting with the government thing.
Like you said before, addition, subtraction, and a few percentages. That's all the math they really do.
Oh, yeah.
But it's following all of the rules.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping up all the rules makes it difficult.
The government got something for you if you skip some rules, man. Especially with
and they always find out.
Right. It's following all the rules. That's the real issue.
All right, that's a way better way to put it. You're right.
The math is easy because they never addition and subtraction. A few percentages.
That's a way better way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I lost the comment I was looking for. I promise this never happens. I'm usually really good at it. You seen the intro, pretty good. Oh no, I just had it. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe I deleted it on accident. Anyway, so I don't know, man. I think so. just kind of getting back to, I guess, the initial question, whatever, was just talking about the education. So not just to be able to do what you can do, but I guess starting off well, like starting off at the beginning, like a couple people in the comments said that they kids was buying, teenagers buying stock and stuff that they was interested in themselves, and do you know? So let me ask you this: just do you know of any in period, whether it's in our neighborhoods or otherwise? I'm assuming not in our neighborhoods, but I would have heard about it. But just any like mentorship or any companies that do, like I don't know if Ameritrade do anything like that. Not mentor so much, maybe even like internships. Do Ameritrade do internships to like that level, that degree?
So I can tell you that my company, Ameriprise. Yeah. Well, anyway, they are
My bad.
they are having a real big push to start that type of program now. I got to be honest with you though. The main reason why is because Ameriprise is headquartered in Minneapolis, and what happened there with George Floyd.
Yeah.
Pressure.
Yeah. Well, they woke up. They all of a sudden became really woke to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they are starting is they're looking to they're asking us right now because they want to be able to start push out a couple of different things: recruiting African Americans into the business, and two, doing a lot of financial literacy for Black and brown people.
Hey, so I hear like people, mainly like Jay-Z, he speak about financial literacy, and then you see the deals that he make.
2 big ones in a week.
Yes,
Huge
ridiculous. But I noticed that he never gives up full ownership. There's always a partnership with any of these companies that he do business with. So is that part of the like financial literacy, where just if you do you want to do a partnership. You don't want anybody to just come in and have control of your company.
So here's the thing, right? I understand why he does that, because it's much better. We always think about all the big upside, right? But never nobody talks about that ain't no damn floor either.
That's a great point.
Right.
That's a great point, man.
And then you only got half in there, right?
Yeah.
Not as much if that thing falls through the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those big venture deals, they be doing this stuff, right?
Great point, man.
I hear about the one that did real well, right? But you know what you don't hear about? The thing that went bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
And it went bad, right? So I get why they do that. It's the same reason why I talk to people about buying mutual funds instead of buying an individual stock. Because if you hit the right one, it'll blow through the roof. But if they go the other way, there ain't a good feeling when you lose everything on that deal.
Red for days.
Right. So that's why I always tell especially when people are starting out, they should find a good mutual fund to be able to deal with, and find someone to help them to be able to find the good mutual fund to be able to get that diversification that I was telling you about.
So how do you get involved with the mutual funds though?
How do you get involved with them?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, man. Pretty much all the big banks, all the big investment companies like mine and stuff. TD Ameritrade, all the brokerage firms can get you into the different types of mutual funds.
So is it a certain amount of money you got to come to the table with, or what? Like, how does it work?
So with mutual funds, they were really designed for the individual investor and for guys that don't have a lot. Most of them, you can start out at $1,000, and then you can add money into it on a monthly basis, normally like $100 or so. And it's an excellent way to get started.
So with a mutual fund, is it basically a pool? Basically, your money is going into a pool of money,
Correct.
And so how does the mutual funds choose what to invest in? Like, how does?
Well, specifically, of course, they hire, these guys that are really good at analysts, being a financial analyst, and then trying to find out which companies they believe are the ones that are going to do the best moving forward into the future. Okay. Because basically how you price a stock is you look at its ability, the company itself, to make money into the future.
Right.
Okay. So they're then figuring out, how much debt do they have? Do they have a specific product that can, that's going to take off? Do they have the patents on the product to be able to make sure that they can, push out the competition for an extended period of time and stuff? And that's how and then they'll choose those particular stocks. And when you're in a mutual fund, what they're basically doing is buying, it can be anywhere from 50 to, a couple hundred different stocks in there. Okay. And even though you're only putting in $1,000 in there, so you get a small slice of all of that. And then that's how you be able to make money as you add money into it.
So when you want to get out of it, you can get out of it
at any point in time.
That's like, I'm more, I'm more curious about that than I am, going to a random stock and losing money. It seems like every time I invest in something.
So again, that's why I think people get a bad taste in their mouth for the stock market. They get the two confused, right? They think buying an individual stock is like buying into a mutual fund. I think that you should have a real good sense of how the mutual funds work first, and get you a nice little cushion on the mutual fund. Then maybe if you want to, pick a stock or two, see how it runs. But I always think, I try to describe it to people like this, right? You want to get a workhorse, which is the mutual funds, and then maybe if you're feeling real good, get you a racehorse. and make sure that ain't your grocery money.
You see them people at the track be stressed betting on the
horse. Keeping those tickets tight. Oh, I can't believe it. That's funny. That's interesting about mutual funds. I didn't see. The reason I started, I don't want to say the reason I started out in stocks, but I like the task of going, looking at, even like teaching myself what the numbers mean, history, thinking of a product that I see people using or whatever. Like I like doing that type of homework. So I'll probably end up doing it backwards in the way that you said, but mutual funds got me very interested now, though. Especially with the market the way it is now, I'm very.
Especially when we have a pretty volatile market like we have now, spread the risk amongst a bunch of stocks or different bonds or a combination of stocks and bonds. You get a combination of stocks and bonds in the mutual fund too. Probably it's a good way going forward.
Noted. Noted.
Learn something new every time.
Hey, so I completely deleted my notes off my phone. So if you guys something, I know we had talked about some stuff that you had wanted to hit and talk about. We can jump into, because I completely deleted my notes on accident.
I know you sent me that one note that you wanted to ask me about that GameStop thing.
Oh, that was my man down here. He said, because like I said, we had talked about it before, and then it kind of died down for a while.
Right.
Like another explosion. It was last week or 2 weeks ago or something. So all right. So give us the overview. Give us your overview, and I hope I'm sure everybody had to hear something about GameStop and how it was like regular. It was regular news. It wasn't even financial news.
I know. Yeah, I know, you're absolutely right, because it was, it hit the perfect thing, right? It hit the American greed where they heard people making all kind of money. But again, it never tell you about the ones that, went bankrupt on the deal, right? Or that poor kid that turned around and ended up being a couple $100,000 in debt and ended up committing suicide and stuff too. I've seen that on the news too. But let me just say this though. I won't talk about this, but I'm telling you, whoever listening, don't do this. Don't do this. Because I want you to think of it like this. Could my old ass go out there in the football field and play with the Browns and maybe catch a pass? Yeah. But I'm going to get broke up. That game is for true professionals, okay? That game is for true professionals, those hedge funds that got billions of dollars and can float that thing if it goes away. Let me tell you what. And if you ain't constantly on this one, right, it can go really wrong on you. Basically, what a short sale is this. I'll give you an example, right? You're gonna be a real nice guy and give me your car, and then I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna go sell your car for $100, okay? And I'm gonna give you your money back later, right? So what do I do then? I turn around, sell that car for $100, right? And then turn around, and at some point in time in the future, I'm hoping to be in the exact same car again for $80, and then I get to keep the 20 then, right?
Right. You get your car back, or I get my car back.
Right.
You 20 of it, yeah.
But I didn't buy it for 80, so I done made $20 on the deal, right? That's effectively what a short sale is, okay? Now, there are so many scenarios where that can go wrong.
Yeah.
Like one, you borrowing money to do it. Two, let's just say if the price of that car didn't go down and it went up. Yeah. That same scenario, that car went up to $500, right?
You ought to,
I'm screwed, right?
Jeez, that's great.
In normal circumstances, what we call buying long is you buy it for X, hold on to it, sell it at a time in the future for a higher price. That's what's called holding it long. Short is you do the exact opposite. You sell first, and then you come back and buy it later, hoping that the stock price goes down.
Down, right.
Okay? That is a very risky move.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
It's bad enough just trying to buy. Now, what occurred where I made so much noise in the news with GameStop, everybody knew that nobody goes into a store and buys games anymore. And they was like, everybody said, the vultures is out. This will be our new bust. So the hedge funds came in and tried to shorten the stock.
Yeah, the stock, yeah.
And then a bunch of people on, Robinhood got on there and said, well, we're going to destroy them. And we're going to take it. And they start buying it and pushing the stock up. Now, the damn stock ain't but worth $10. Then they put this thing up to $500 a share.
If that, $10 is better.
So it caused all kind of problems for the hedge funds, right? Because that's called a short squeeze when it moves that way in the wrong direction like that. Because you got to cover that.
Right. Yeah.
Money for it, right? But what they didn't tell you about, though, that's a long way coming down. There's a whole bunch of folks that lost money because they was buying at every point going up, too. And if you bought it in at 400 and they settled back down to like $50 where it should have been, you screwed.
Yeah.
You buying it short like that. I mean, they're taking the opposite end. They were buying long on it.
They didn't want to sell. They didn't want to sell. Like, I don't understand that.
Well,
first off, I don't think you should be in that game unless you are truly got a huge, like I said,
bank.
Yeah, you got billions of dollars. Like I said, bro, I think I could probably go out on the field with the Browns and maybe get one catch.
I can catch the ball.
That makes me a football player.
That's crazy. I just
right.
No, go ahead.
For professionals.
I just had to look at it. I just had to look at it because. So just looking at like a trend for GameStop, I wish I could show the graph, because it's absurd. This thing went from $19.95 a share, and then in about a week, it went up to $300 Let me see. It topped out at 300, about 350 roughly.
Mhm.
Dropped to 193 was the lowest. Then it shot back up to 325. Then it shot to $51. In like 2 days, it shot to $51, man. And
So-
now it's sitting at about 138. But man, like, can you like? It's like this. It's literally this. That's crazy, man.
And I'm telling you, unless you got the computer programs to be able to get you in the market and out of the market quickly,
Exactly.
you do not need to be in that game.
Hey, we talked about it before the show started. Me and B talked about it all the time.
The Browns play.
Hey, if you don't got the whatever system you're using, if you can't get in and out at your leisure,
You don't need to be in the game.
Mm-hmm.
boy, yeah, once you catch the pass from the Browns, you're like, all right, that's it. Don't hit me. I'm out.
Right.
You better slide to a safe stop.
Like, I've never seen. I don't even think the market ever seen nothing like that. Where, like you said, it was just a bunch of people. And look.
Yes, it was. I give you another one that was not that long ago.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. JC Penney's.
Man, they gone.
Yes, right.
How long that's
That's right. They are.
Did they do no, it couldn't have been that sporadic though. That was, I don't remember, but
we wasn't paying attention back then.
yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I was probably a little young, but
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Hey, what's that movie? The Big Short.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that ruined the entire economy.
Well, so let me tell you, that whole movie, The Big Short, was really about that financial crisis we went through in 2008, right when Obama came in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that was all about. And the short was actually real estate. Because everybody had bidded up real estate prices to it was just insane. I mean, I'll never forget this. My dad, when he was still alive back during that time, he went to go and refi his home. And he over at 121st off of Kinsman. They appraised that damn house for $170,000. Yeah,
What?
exactly.
Wow.
Woo.
And he said that just can't be right. And all he really wanted to do was get him a little money out to be able to do the roof and, do the furnace in the basement and do the driveway and stuff.
Crazy.
So I think he got, I don't know, 30, 40 grand or something like that to be able to get that work done. But he could have got a whole lot more. But that's exactly what happened. I mean, during that time span, it was bad here in Cleveland. Cleveland was really bad. But you know where else was really bad is in Miami.
Mm.
If you ever had went down there in Miami at that point in time, it would not be uncommon for you. You land at the airport, get in a taxi, and a taxi cab driver start telling you about how you own 6, 7 condos.
That's crazy.
Because at the time, same thing was happening here in Cleveland. They call them no doc loans, where you didn't have to verify your income. All you had to do is sign.
Mm. Man, and then now, say you had them 6, 7 condos, and you put
Pushed up because there was such a demand for houses then, they got pushed up so high, and man, we still struggling with that now here in the city of Cleveland.
That was just such a crazy time. Like I remember. So first of all, I remember, but going back and doing research, it was like different countries. Like the housing market here was considered like the most stablest thing you could bid on. People, other countries was bidding on it. Like was buying real estate and like it was absurd to the point. And then like towards the end, when clearly everything was going belly up, and there was like people was renting homes, and they were still paying money to the landlord. The landlord wasn't paying money. There was a pocket of that money.
Yep.
And when the bank come knock on the door, like, y'all gotta go. They're like, what you mean? We've been paying our rent. We've been, the whole time.
Yep.
That's a crazy time, man.
Well, think about it though. If you refi your, like I get example my father. If he had refied that thing up to the 80%, got like 150 grand out of that, right? And then when it came back down to normal, and that damn house was maybe worth 40, 50.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you pay for that? You have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Take it. Let the bank take it, right? And that's what was happening all over the country.
That's crazy, man.
Well, think about it though. Why would you not do that?
Uh-huh.
Even if you did continue to pay it off, right? You still you can literally be 100 and not get that value back out of that plane.
Good point. That's a good. You know what? That's a good point.
So why wouldn't you do that? You go find your bankruptcy lawyer and say, look. And then what was the crazy part? The banks didn't want them back because it was their problem.
They do, yeah, exactly.
So that was their problem.
They look like, come on, man, ain't nothing you can do. You can't, look, we have a payment plan for you. Like this.
Right, come out here. Just in there, right? Because then it becomes their problem, right? And then they got to pay the property taxes on it. And then they got to keep it up.
Yeah. Come on, man. We can work it out, man. I tell you, man. We'll drop it. Come on. Please don't give it back.
Right.
Hey, what about now though? Like where a lot of people are buying houses because the APR is so low. Some people get them to 0% APR on the houses now.
So you're right. The housing market is really hot right now because the interest rates are so low. You're absolutely right.
Got me thinking.
Hey, so I haven't even had my house a year. Should I refinance? Is it too early? I need a better rate.
So what I normally tell people, if the interest rate that you can refinance at is at least 2.5% lower, maybe you should consider it.
I got to be right there. It wasn't high because I got in, like I said, right now, this month. So it would have been like pandemic was just starting to get out of hand, and it was just starting. The Fed was dropping everything. Like everybody it was a fire drill. So it wasn't that bad. But I'm gonna go look. All right. Let me write that down too.
Remember now you got to pay all the closing costs. That's why we say it's got to be at least 2.5%, maybe 3% lower before you want to consider to do the refi.
Because I got a pretty good rate, but it's nothing like, it's not zero like now.
Well, you can see it. You can get a lot of, I've seen, I haven't seen any zeros though, but I have seen 2.5% or 2.25% though.
Okay. I got to at least take a look. It's worth doing the homework for at least.
It don't hurt to ask questions.
Jeez.
Sell. I'll be thinking about selling sometimes too. Sell, buy something new just because.
Well, you got to realize though, the housing price has been pushed up now too because the demand is so high right now because the interest rates are so low.
Mm-hmm.
So you might get shocked when you try to find the same sort of house. You're going to end up taking on a much bigger note.
That's a good point. I was going to say, so you probably can get a good price for your house if you sell, but then when you got to buy another house, they probably going to tax you too.
Hey, so I seen somebody said that you should at least put down. I think they said like 20%. I can't remember the percentage. Let's say it was like 20%.
Mm-hmm.
So then your interest rate won't be sky high.
No, that's not true. Let me tell you what they're trying to tell you about. There is a specific fee if you don't put down 20%. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's called a Pmi Insurance, okay? And that's it's like an additional little bit of interest rate on top of it if you don't put 20% down. Oh. Now, the logic behind that is this, right? If you put 20% into the deal, the likelihood of you walking away is a lot less. Mm-hmm. As opposed to if you got no money into the deal.
Right.
It's tough. Hell, I'm walking away.
I ain't got nothing invested. I can just walk away clean and
right. So that's what you're talking about now. And quite frankly, most of the banks, they're gonna require that you at least have 10% down, and then they'll let you, have that Pmi insurance until you get 20% equity in the home, right? But some of the banks are real hard and fast on that, where you got to have 20% down.
So MDJ said, how do you know and who do you ask? I'm assuming you're talking about as far as refinancing. Do you go to your current mortgage company and then ask them about better rates, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Quicken loans.
Yep.
Quicken loan, yeah.
They actually are very good. Quicken loan is actually pretty good.
Customer service wise, it's probably the best mortgage company I've ever dealt with. I mean,
have you dealt with them?
Well, I just when I was first looking, I was looking at different, what different entities offer. Service wise, the best company I've ever. Even the people I went with, just because the rates was lower and they did like some other stuff, but I mean, it's a giant company, so I expect them to be a little bit better. But man, they were pretty good. And
I'll tell you what, though, if you get a good professional realtor, though, they know which banks are the best and which ones they can get you through.
For sure. Oh, for sure. Because the first time I got, I don't know if I got denied or I don't remember exactly how it played out, but like a bank I've been with for a while, and it was like, they might have denied me or turned me down or something. And my realtor was like, no. I got a company, saying we'll make sure that this, and this, and but at the same time, I was still calling on my own. But he got me together with the people that she dealt with for this type of a loan, and she had all her ducks in a row. I give her that for sure.
Because they the professionals. They shop the whole landscape. Because let me tell you what the real problem is. Okay, what you will never know is the good performing loans that the bank has on their books. So you'll never know which ones they're trying to slot in to be able to diversify their loan. They will never give you that information. And that's going to be different at every bank you go to. The realtors can get in there and talk with the banks to be able to find out which one will fit into their portfolio and which one they have a higher propensity to turn around and qualify. I mean, let it go through. Because they'll get an idea of what kind of loan. Because if they got a big portfolio of mortgages, right, they're trying to slot other mortgages in there to be able to offset their risk.
Okay. That makes so much sense.
You would never know that. You would never be able to get that information right. But the realtors can get that out of them. So because they talking to all the mortgage, the banks and stuff. Because that's how they get paid.
Right.
See that's why when you when you go get a car, they tell you to go to the bank first and get your loan instead of going through the dealership, because the dealership will tax on whatever percentage they want to, and you will never know.
That's true. They tack on something for them too.
That's crazy.
That's good, man. Everybody said I've had mine for 6 months and 2 days. I've got another saying they're doing. I get better rates for vets. She's like, I'm all ready. So this is good information. So I wasn't sure, kind of like he was saying, I wasn't sure if you call other people like, look, this is where my rate is. Can you beat it? You know what I'm saying? Or do you go to your people first and say like, hey, can you do better? And then go from there.
I'll tell you what, though. I think, the most efficient use of your time is, again, to find a good professional realtor.
Yep.
And let them shop it. It's just like, you ever tried to shop for car insurance?
I got a guy. I call one person. I'm like, look, it's March. My thing about to be up. Whatever, run it, and I just wait for a phone call. Like, look, stay where you at. We're gonna keep you at the same company. We're gonna bump you up to this. Go to this. Like, I got a guy that I trust. He ain't started me wrong. I put my whole family on. You know what I'm saying? That never came back negative. So I would assume it was the same way.
So if you got a property and casualty broker like that, same sort of concept. When you're dealing with a whole bunch of different companies, the same concept.
See, oh man, that just
a lot of the inside information that you'll never get.
never get right. You're like, oh man, let me run the numbers and get back with you. I'm like, all right, do your thing, man. I'm pretty sure. Ah, that's good.
Insider trading. It's illegal.
That's what it feels like, right? That's exactly what it felt like. Oh man. See, so I think even with this part, I think it comes back to what Ebony said earlier about trustworthy, man. Like, cause look, so my insurance guy, the way I got into some cop trouble, legal, whatever you want to call it, and I had called him, and I was like, because I didn't really know what to do. I was maybe 22, 23 or something. I was like, I don't know, what they're talking about as far as insurance, like certain insurance and all this stuff. So I called him, and I just hung up because I'm like, if somebody picked up, I don't even know what to say, blah blah blah. And he ended up calling back and like, yeah, did somebody call? I'm like, yeah. Like, I don't really know what I'm looking for, blah blah blah. So I explained it to him. He's like, oh, no worries. Like, what I'm saying, like, whenever you got some time, like, I come out to you. We'll go over this. I explain it all to you, blah blah blah. We get together, and then so that was like I'm like, all right, well, for him to call back, because most businesses won't call you back. You know what I'm saying? They think it's the wrong number or whatever.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. He seemed cool when I met him, very personable, all this stuff. And then just over time, he's like, all right, so look, he's like, 6 months or whatever, no accidents. But we can drop you down, or we can put you in this bubble, and so you're gonna pay more money for this 6 months. But then after that, we're gonna drop you down 2 levels. Like, yeah, all these tips and tricks, and like you said, insider trader is what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
You go up 2, and then you come down 3 or something.
Because again, in the auto insurance business, it's the exact same thing too. Because you ever wonder why there's so big a difference in the price from one auto insurance company to the other? I'll tell you why. Because of the pool of people that they have are completely different. And if they're getting a lot more claims in this pool here, they got to spread it amongst everybody else.
So this is what we need. Like, we need people like you and him to explain this type of stuff. Because when he explained it to me, like, look, I can get you a cheaper rate. I'm paying a good rate now. He's like, I can get you, like, getting you a cheaper rate is not the issue. He's like, but when we do, that'll put you in a different bubble. Like, because they ended this bubble is grandfathered in. They're actually trying to kick people out of this bubble to get them into the new bubble.
Right.
If you stay where you at, it just weather the storm. It'll be worth it in the end. Blah blah blah. And he's been right ever since. So I think, man, finding somebody that you can trust when it comes to any aspect of money, whether it's car insurance or any financial stuff, Black people have an issue with it because, I mean, they got jerked around so much from the government and all type of stuff, and I get it.
I give you that. And to be real honest with you, the worst is a real estate transaction. Because there are so, the reason why you got to sign so many documents is because this country got a long history of screwing people out of real estate.
Hey, that movie, The Banker.
Anybody that's an American Indian asked about it.
I know you seen that movie, The Banker.
Yeah. This country's got a huge issue with real property when it comes to land and homes and stuff.
I do want to touch this real quick. Now I'm gonna let you go on. So when I was doing, you sign 1,000 copies of paper for you when you buy your house. So the lady that did the title company, she was real cool, and she explained everything, like no jargon. It was like, all right, sign this, like this paper. She's like, look, so I'm gonna say before we even start, none of this paperwork is about you. Nothing is about you. This is about protecting the bank. This is about protecting this part. Like, none of this is about you. So every time I would sign, she's like, all right, this is protecting. This is a paper from HUD saying that they blah 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 blah. This is protecting HUD. It's not protecting you. Next paper. This is protecting the bank. Like, she was so down to earth and super cool. Would just let me know, like, this has nothing to do with you. This is for protecting everybody else. Mm-hmm. And so don't think that they doing this for you out of the kindness of their heart, because they're not. You know what I'm saying? I love that. I love her for that.
She was telling you the truth.
Yeah, that's what I know.
All you know is you got a piece of paper at the end of the day, and you get the keys to say you can pay for it for the next 15 to 30 years.
Yeah, congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say. Congratulations. And they're like, yeah, well, now so it begins.
I never forget when I bought my first house, right? Did I tell you all this?
No.
No.
when I bought my first house, it was down there on the 142nd off of Kinsman, right? And I was like 26 at the time, right? And with the title company, you sign all these documents. And all I kept thinking in my head was, I have no idea what it's like to pay for something for 30 years. I'm not even 30 years old yet. That's all I kept thinking in my head, right? And I keep thinking I'm signing this thing to be able to pay for something for 30 years, right? And I had no concept of what 30 years was, right? But here's the funny part, right? It wasn't funny at the time. I got into the house, and the first mortgage payment wasn't due for like 2 months later, 2.5 months later, actually, okay? And right when I moved in, there was like this valve right at the edge of the tree lawn, right, going to the street, and there was water coming out of it, right? And I thought, oh, I'm property owner now, right? So I'm gonna call the water department, tell them to come fix it. They came, pulled up their truck, and I just see them laying back in their truck. And then next thing I know, they're at my door. They had me a notice. Tell me, you don't get this thing fixed in 3 days, we come back to shut your water off. No joke. And then, so I'm calling frantically, around these plumbers, right? And this is like, I think it was like 89 or so. Anyway, and so every plumber I called, this is what they told me. Well, sir, we can't tell you how much it's going to cost to get it fixed, but the first thing is we got to dig a hole, and that's going to be $1,000. Once we dig the hole, then we can tell you how much it costs.
Can I dig the hole for you?
So I am freaking out because I pretty much have put everything I got into getting this out.
Oh, yeah.
So I ended up, because my mom had just passed away and stuff, so I turned around and I called my best friend's mom, right? And she said, boy, call the councilman. So I called the councilman, right? And he got the commissioner of the water department on the phone right when I was on the phone with him. He said, I bet you that, right? About 2 hours later, the water department showed up again. And they fixed it, right? And that just taught me that, you just got to know who to trust to help you out when you don't know stuff.
Bingo. Bingo.
And the killer part to me was when they dug the hole, they dug it out to the middle of the street. So I'm thinking, I want to go out there back. So you want me to dig it on out the street? Tear up the street, right? That's true story.
But my neighbor, used to be like a gas mill, like in front of my house, and my neighbor would just call him every week, until they finally came out and fixed the gas line, right? But they had to go down the whole street and dig up everything. So it was probably about 10 people's front lawns. Everybody messed up.
On.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it was worth it because that needed to be fixed. You just can't have just natural gas just floating in the air like that.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Not to knock people who work for the city though, but sometimes. Way off the topic of finance here.
Look, so I'll be upset. I'm like, come on, man, y'all know how I feel to be a normal person, but then at the same time, I'm like, they boss or whatever ain't going to enforce it until it gets to a certain point. So if I was in the same situation, I would look like, I can't really do nothing until they say do something, and then you do it. And, and like calling the councilman, that's great. It ain't what you know, it's who you know, is what they say.
Right.
I had that never occurred to me.
Me neither.
But she told me, just call your city councilman, and found out he was real responsive to it too.
That's good. That's good, man.
Did you vote for him?
Yeah, he was my guy from that point forward.
I got to vote for him now. Yeah, of course.
He was my guy from that point forward. He still was.
That's funny, man. That's hilarious.
He certainly was.
Oh, that's funny. We got one more question, man. We're gonna get you out of here. We appreciate you coming in on a Sunday, hanging out with us a little bit. Let me see. So Andrew said, do you have a preference to swipe debit card versus spending cash? Dave Ramsey is a huge cash guy, but I hate carrying cash, and she's curious of your opinion. Do you hate Dave Ramsey?
Who, me?
Yeah, I kind of hate Dave Ramsey.
He
don't know what he's talking about, but I don't like nothing else about him.
So I think that debit cards are really the way to go. Quite honestly, I mean, the problem is if you lose the cash, you're stuck. You lose the debit card, you get replaced.
True.
And specifically, if you buy stuff on the internet, if you use a credit card, but you got the trick is though to make sure you're paying it off at the end of each month. Here's the dirty little secret I don't think a lot of people know. If you use a debit card on the internet and there's a fraud, that's actually a crime against you, not the bank. If you use a credit card and there's a fraud, that's a crime against the bank. Out of that. Because they just loaning you the money. That's their property.
I'm no longer using my debit card
So
on the internet from this.
I'm just telling you, if you get a financial crime against you on your debit card, now most of them now, they still have a fraud protection, but in actuality, they don't really have to push that because that's a crime against you. That's your responsibility to get it fixed.
Just goes to the notes, man.
So to answer your question, when you know that you're going to like a point of sale for something, I don't mind using, debit card there. In fact, I like using debit card for this specific reason, because at the beginning of each month, what do you get from them? You get a bank statement to show every nickel what you paid. Is much easier to track what you spending on, as opposed to if you're doing it with cash. Yeah. There are so many people that, spend so much in what we call discretionary spending because they're spending cash and have no idea what their spending is.
That's good.
Now I will say this though. Now having cash is good. Well, it's good for me because it reminds me that my money is dwindling and I need to stop so I can visually see it. Because with a debit card, you swipe, you don't think about it.
Right.
But with cash, I'm
not saying, like if you go into a point of sale in the store or something like that, I'm not opposed to you having some cash, but I'm just saying it's easier, especially when it comes to when you're trying to track your budget and stuff, because you'll get a statement from the bank to show every nickel of what you spent.
That's good. I carry like emergency money, like in case I needed to call a taxi or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't carry no money like that. I not even for the purposes of being able to track my spending. And you're right. I agree. Like sometimes you do get, I wouldn't say carried away, but when you swipe, you don't have the visual stimulation as you do with cash. Like I don't want to break this 20. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever I gotta do. Like I just don't got enough because I don't want to break the 20. But man, I just can't carry cash. I just can't do it for whatever reason.
You know what I do like? I like Apple Pay because when you use that tap feature or whatever, the debit card that's on your receipt is not your actual debit card number. It's like a basically essentially a fake debit card number. Mm-hmm. So if anybody get that receipt or if Target or wherever you shop at gets have an internet breach or whatever, they won't get your number.
That's pretty good. Let me see. Every day said I'm the opposite. I'm very mindful before I swipe. And then Angel said I review my balances every day, but I'm a swiper too.
You know what though? That's another good point I like to bring up to the people. If you're worried about not being cognizant of because it seems like it's magically spending it right. If you feel that you need to, check your online statements constantly. You'll see it. You don't have to wait until the beginning of the month, and then that way you can tell yourself, "Oh, I'm at my point now. I got to stop."
That's what I do. I got alerts coming to my phone. Every transaction, positive balance, negative balance, anything over a cent, which is everything.
Mm-hmm.
I get a notification on my phone. You give me like an update, and then every morning I get a daily balance update. Like first thing I see when I grab my phone in the morning is, you got $100 left in this count, or I'm sorry, less than $100 in this count, or you got more than whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I got alerts for all type of stuff, man.
Right.
I don't carry cash at all, but I definitely need to be aware.
Well, I'm gonna just say this, right? And this is just, I guess, my own personal preference, right? I don't like carrying cash because of the fact that if I lose it or something like that, I know it can be replaced with a debit card or with a credit card and stuff. Right. And specifically, I'll never use a debit card if you're shopping for something online.
I never even thought about that, but that makes so much sense though.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, because it's coming out of your account with the bank, so that's your issue. It's against you.
Yeah. It makes so much sense, man. Like I never thought about it though.
Mm-hmm. That's why I tell you, if you're traveling, right, to make sure you carry, a credit card in case your the card is compromised or anything like that, or something like that happens right when you're out, because it's a crime against the bank. Then.
Never thought about it.
That's good, man.
Hey, I might just do a little bit of cash, leave a debit card at home, and bring credit cards, and then just pay it off when I get home.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you didn't pay the interest on it if you pay it off in each month.
Once again, the legend, Eric Tolbert.
Let's see. Everybody said I gotta get a credit card now. Yeah, like this person, just make sure you shop around and all that good stuff, because you can actually earn stuff from them and all that good stuff. But like I said, the online shopping thing makes so much sense that I never even thought about. And I got a couple, all mine are for emergencies or whatever. But like you said, like that's the bank's problem. And then as long as if you got the cash to buy it anyway, you just pay it off as soon as you do it, and there's no file.
Yeah, and that's what I call a proper use of a credit card. To safeguard your stuff.
That's genius. Like I never even would have. That's crazy, man.
Look, I make sure that it's no annual fee, no monthly fee, and then the cards, the two cards recently that I got, there's no interest for like 15 months or something like that. So those are the ones that I use. The other ones I got, I just put them right in the drawer. I'm not touching them.
Not touching them, right? Exactly.
Until I got to use them, so I don't cut it off by some McDonald's or something.
Your mom got the best deal out here. Come see me. We got 0 intro for 18 months.
That's crazy.
18 months. Hey, you might have come chill with your mom and find out. 18 months. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is true though, because the bank she work at, that's where I got my account. So
18 months is good.
They sent me something in the mail, and I was like, I don't believe it.
Yeah, I got.
So I see a lot of those promotions like that though when they do it for the first 18 months, or if you transfer stuff over, it'll be zero interest for the first 18 months too.
I'm looking in the wrong. I done found some zero balances for 12, 18 months. I mean, it's only extra half a year, but man, at a 0%, you get an extra 6 months to pay off whatever. Oh man, I need to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I need to be a part of that. That's crazy. All right, man. Anything else you wanna touch on before we get out of here?
Ebony was asking about which banks to go to. There are a lot of, and I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know I've seen a few different sites that you could search to be able to, what credit cards you can have them to bid on your business and stuff too.
And she have a nonprofit too, so I mean, I know it's separate than personal income and stuff, but she should definitely look into that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure that, but having a nonprofit give you certain benefits too.
True. So the only other thing I just wanted to say is thank you guys so much for having me back again. I'm so proud that I'm able to make it twice on the visual. and if anybody had any questions and stuff for me that they want to take offline and stuff, I know my contact information is on there.
Put it up here right now.
Definitely reach out to me, and I'll be more than willing to help you out.
But most definitely thank you for doing this, because getting people to come and share and laugh and joke is difficult. But we most definitely appreciate the content, because I learned something today. I'm sure the viewers and listeners did too. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We talk from time to time on I see the stuff that you put up on LinkedIn, and say I always got a comment or something, because it'd be good information all the time. So, and like I told you last time, man, you welcome to come on anytime. Even though I think it's almost like exactly 6 months. I think is what it's been. But when I reached out to you, I'm like, man, like what better time than tax season, and I didn't know that the stimulus was going to get passed. Just like,
I know it's going to get right around the time everybody's going to get paid.
like that's shoot. Or look, even if the only thing people pulled out of this was, don't forget, if you can get anywhere between that 15 to 20% of savings, like that's enough as a reminder. Like, hey, 15% of your gross, you can get that around. If you can get that and put that aside, you'll be in good shape. Even if that's as a reminder, it'd be great.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, man, it's always an open invitation. You know what I'm saying? Anytime, anything happen that you want to talk about or you know what I'm saying, you think it'd be great for the show or any of that stuff. And then, as you know, we'll definitely be reaching out, you know what I'm saying, just to have good conversation, have good information being given out to us. Like you said, it ain't many people that we even got access to, you know what I'm saying, where, for our audience, where it would make sense, I guess, you know what I'm saying? And, like B said, where you can actually come on and have fun and joke and laugh, and I mean, I'm sure. Look, we got kind of like the same group on like LinkedIn. You see some of the people, and they ain't always as I want to say uptight or whatever, but they don't know how to separate. You know what I'm saying, to be a regular human.
So here's the thing, and I'm gonna end with this, right? At the end of the day, I'm just a guy that grew up on 121st off of Kinsman and was actually pretty good at math. And I like helping people. That's what I was always taught to do. So, I really enjoy doing this stuff with you guys. Appreciate it, okay?
That's super dope. Hey, y'all reach out to Eric, man, if y'all got any questions. Y'all see his information right there on the bottom of the screen. We can't thank you enough for coming on. And like every J said, we'll have you back sometime soon for sure.
I appreciate it.
We're gonna end on the outro, and then that'll be it for us. So y'all, hope y'all enjoy the show. B.
Go check out Enduring the Course with Ebony J. She had a show on earlier today. I watched a little bit. I fell asleep. But good thing is, it's on every streaming platform, so you can always go back and watch it. So most definitely check out that. Check out this episode, watch the rewind, and remember to own your own. It's very important. As you can see, Eric Tolbert, he on his own. You see what he doing. We on our own. You see what we about to do. So,
hey, so we appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all Wednesday for politics, 6:30 to 7, short shows. Just catch up on anything that's going on. B said it all. So salute to the city as always. We appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all next week. Right,
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
If I do a quick, it'll be $15 to $20 depending. 20.
Yeah, 20. Snapbacks are 15. Skull caps are 12.
Like the snapbacks is, we had them for so long. They went down to 15.
Yeah.
15. But that has 20. It's easier to give a $20 bill than a 10 and a 5. Just saying.
Actually, where you been? Like, we do post this stuff. I promise you we do. I promise you we do.
I've been doing this for how long? Last past year. It's all on the page.
Go to the page and go to store or shop or whatever it is. Like, we got, it's on there. You go to epiphanymedia.com, it's on there. I promise you.
Shirts.
Yeah, I promise you we ain't
Hey! Back up. Get over there. Get over there.
Sorry. That's me, nigga. That's the dog.
Well, I didn't want her to, I didn't know how she was going to react.
You know how I react.
But hey, you know what's crazy?
You know how I react.
You know what's crazy? She was
cool.
She finally got to meet you and she ain't do nothing.
No, hit her with that MC Hammer.
She did come and sniff you. She did come and sniff you though.
Camera.
Hey, but if you would have been like, she would probably. If you put your hand out, she would probably.
Yo. Yeah. Don't grab me, nigga. Grab the door.
How am I supposed to get over you?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to watch.
I don't know.
We're gonna have to put that as on the blooper reel.
I don't know.
Oh.
I tell you this much. I got something for that dog. Nigga, all y'all gonna see is y'all gonna hear bang. It's gonna be blood on the camera. Y'all gonna be like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
All right, so.
You are about to experience the result of hard work and dedication from the City of Champions, Cleveland's own, 90th's finest. Self-made, hard-working entrepreneurs, unequivocally raw, no holds barred. This is Epiphany Media.